people, it's Grace here again. Welcome back to my channel. On this platform I talk about purposeful singleness and godly relationship as it applies to the Christian single lady. To all my new subscribers, thank you for joining the community. I hope you have a nice time in this cozy corner of the internet. And to all the old subscribers, thank you for always coming back. I'm super grateful to have you in my community. So today let's talk about Christian proposals and addressing them appropriately. From personal experience and also from people experience around me, I've highlighted about 6 proposal methods that Christian brothers use and how to address them as a Christian lady receiving a proposal from a Christian brother. So the first proposal approach is the "God told me you're my wife" approach, which is the most common because they know we are God's daughters and whatever God did not say, we will not subscribe to it. So most single brothers come approaching you with this "God told me you are my wife" method. So as a Christian lady, should you just give in to a proposal being made with the "God said" cliche, or how do you address this kind of situation? Because there are wolves in sheep clothing these days, it would have been perfect if it is from a truthful place that God said you are his wife. But because you have to be aware of other people that might use this and they did not hear a thing from God and they are just using it as an approach to win you over because they know you are a Christian lady. So if somebody tells you "God told me you are my wife," you have to personally go back to seek God on this situation. Did God tell him for real? Because what if God did not tell him? What if he's hearing the echoes of his mind? How do you address this kind of situation? How can you be sure that God told him? Well, if God, your father, told him, his son, about you, his daughter, he should also be able to tell you, his daughter, about him if he's his son. So you go back to God and ask for confirmation if this kind of proposal approach is being used for you. God, did you send this person? Is it from you? Do you even know him as your son? And on the side, when you go and get stuff in marriage, you want to have a word from God to go back to. Did you send me to this marriage? You will not have confidence to go back to God in tough situations in marriage when you cannot confidently say that God sent you there. You are not going to just live on a man's vision or conviction for the marriage. You have to be personally convinced that this is a man God wants you to marry in situations where things are not rosy in marriage. You want to be sure you are not forced into that marriage by a God said proposal, right? Second one is a man that displays spiritual understanding. It's so easy to get carried away with men that are resourceful with the word. When they preach, the whole pulpit is shaking. When they pray, the whole hell is in shambles. He can be a great preacher, sis, and still not be a good partner. Do not be carried away by a man that flaunts his spiritual understanding to your face and tell you deep stuff about God. Be interested in the person more than the proposal. Do you align in values? Can you submit to this person? Is he a worthy leader? Can you trust your children into his hands? Do you align in beliefs and faith? What is their understanding about marriage itself? We are not going to be preaching inside marriage. You are not going to be spitting fire alone. You are going to be marrying the man and working with him to make a marriage work. So be interested in the man and not his spiritual knowledge as much, right? The next one is a man that flaunts his wealth. Personally, for me, it is a deal breaker when you want to show interest in marrying somebody and the first thing that is most important to you is to get them carried away with the assets that you have, with the money that you have in your bank account, with how rich you are. It just shows how much of a shallow person that you are, because there is more to life than money. And you are marrying the man, not his money, not his property. And I always say, to be honest, if a man thinks that you are a woman that he can convince to marry with his money, he just insulted you. Because number one, do you think I'm a poor woman? Do you think I can't afford basic life amenities for myself? Why do you ever think your money is enough reason for me to marry you? Number one. Number two, a whole daughter of Zion, why will you think you can buy me with money? That's cheap. That's shallow. So for me, it's always a deal breaker. Again, if somebody comes to you declaring their asset and showing interest in marrying you alongside, Strip them of the assets, strip them of the money. What is left? Who is this man himself? You are not marrying his money, you are not marrying his property, you are marrying the person. Be interested in that person, not his property. So what is he like? What is his mentality about marriage? Do we align in convictions? Those basic questions that I always talk about on my channel, ask them. Do not get carried away. The next one is a man that is obsessed with you. He asked you to marry him yesterday. Few months after you've told him, I'm not interested in you, sir, he still comes again. These men work with the mentality of, if you apply pressure and you are persistent, he will give in one day. They are looking for one day for you to give in. Sis, if it's not him, it's not him. Time, persistence, pressure does not change that. If you think this man is not the man God has for you, even if he's persistent, don't ever have that mentality that he's chasing you because he likes you. He's putting pressure, or he really likes you. That is why he's persistent and he's been asking you out for like 2 years. For what? If it's not him, again, it's not him. Time, persistence, pressure does not change that. Next one is men that approach you with a proposal and say, if you don't marry me, no man will marry you. Yeah? On God's plentiful green head too. See, the Bible said in, is it Romans chapter 11 verse 4, that God has 7,000 men reserved that have not bowed to the idol of Baal. Sis, God has plenty men in his kingdom. As he has daughters rightfully, he has men in excess that will go round. Do not let anybody manipulate you into accepting a proposal because they tell you, if you don't marry me, no man will marry you. If he's not the one, don't ever accept to marry somebody because you are scared nobody will eventually marry you. He's not the only man in existence. God has sons. I promise you, God has sons. The Bible said that none shall lack their mate. As God has created you, he has a bone of your bone that he has created. If you think he's not the one God has for you, by checking conviction, faith, beliefs, and you think he's not the one, he's still not the one. Even if he comes with, if you don't marry me, nobody will marry you. The next one, which is not a proposal method but a reaction to rejection. When a brother proposes to you and you tell him you are not convinced about the proposal as he is, sometimes they resort to name calling, like you are immature. I've had a personal experience of somebody that called me immature, not mature spiritually, you don't have spiritual understanding, for choosing not to marry you. How? Ancient of days, king of maturity. How is this a question of maturity? I know what I want, I know what I'm looking out for, and you don't look like it. And I gracefully told you, oh, I do not feel the same way, and you think that is a problem of maturity. Then I have a problem with you thinking that is a problem of maturity. This approach is used to guilt trip you, to make you feel there is a problem with you for not marrying them. Again, if he's not the one, he's not the one, sis. Even if they guilt trip you with name calling, with you are not mature, if you don't marry, don't give in. Sis, the man God has for you, he will not threaten you. He will not give you all those negativity that comes with somebody rejecting a proposal. You will not have to experience all those situations. The man God has for you will not pressure you, will not threaten you, will not resort to name calling. You will feel the same way, and that is it. Okay? The last one is guilt tripping. It comes off like, you think I don't have money today, that is why you're not marrying me. If you don't marry me today, I'll be rich tomorrow and you will regret it. Sis, if it is not the man God has for you, there will never be any regret, I promise you. No regret, no guilt or condemnation for declining a proposal that you are sure it is not from God. No guilt, no condemnation. Peace comes with that decision. So anybody that tells you to marry him and you don't feel the same way, and they come saying, oh, you don't marry me today because I don't have money, and we have money tomorrow. Again, there's a problem with that kind of individual that thinks life is all about money. More than the money, be interested in who the man is. Again, That will be all for now. Thank you all for staying through. If you have any other suggestion, contribution to this topic, kindly drop in the comment section. The community will be reading. Thank you for watching till this time. Until next time on my channel. Bye guys.